I think it's fair to say that despite it still being very early on in this transfer window, the mood amongst West Ham fans is not the best at the moment. Plenty of disappointment, anxiety, concern growing amongst the fan base, and I think that is completely normal. Obviously, with football fans, West Ham fans, you're always going to get extremes at either side. You're going to get people that are not worried at all and saying, give it time, there's still a long way to go. And then you get the other side where people going into full meltdown. I find myself definitely in the middle of that, definitely showing concern about the lack of activity, the fact that the club are still pushing this cash flow and PSR issue. But my biggest concern is around the players that we have definitely shown interest in and have definite interest in are signing elsewhere. We're missing out on these targets really early on in this transfer window. And with that in mind, Marseille have dealt us a little bit of a triple whammy. Now, before I talk about that, I just wanted to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Drop a like on the video. We really appreciate the support on the channel, as Mark said before. It's been brilliant recently, so thank you for that. And yeah, if you can continue that to sort of subscribe and like, that would be much appreciated. So yeah, Marseille have been busy in recent days. The first one I want to talk about is Angel Gomes. This is someone that Mark talked about a lot during the season, particularly at the start of this year. We know his contract was ending at the end of June. And look, he was always going to have plenty of suitors, plenty of clubs after him. A free transfer, a player of his ability, got into the England side, playing very well for Lille. He was always going to have plenty of interest, but we were definitely one of the clubs showing interest early on and showing real signs that we wanted to get the deal done as early as possible, which is quite unlike West Ham, to be honest. And I think there was definitely talks. I think we probably threw a bit of money at him, but it obviously didn't happen. I think he was linked with Tottenham and said that that was a move that he favoured. But he's actually now signed for Marseille, as I'm sure most of you have seen. So yeah, that is a player that we've missed out on, like Kelleher going to Brentford. But this one, we obviously really showed our hand early with this. We really wanted him. There was a lot of interest. I think Potter definitely saw him as the number 6 to help us build out from the back, get the ball off the centre halves and start building attacks, which we definitely lack. That is a player that we definitely need. And he fitted the profile for the type of player that we need to bring in. And for a free transfer as well, obviously you've got fees, signing on fees, agent fees, all that kind of stuff, but no transfer fee involved. He was definitely, I would imagine, top of the priority list for that position. And that's why I think we really went after him. So it is a massive blow that he's just chosen to go elsewhere and join Marseille. And that sort of continued in recent days with talks that Egan-Riley is about to sign for Marseille as well. Romano's spoken about it. Fabrizio Romano on X is definitely doing the rounds that Egan-Riley is set to sign for them. Again, on a free transfer, he was one that his contract was coming to an end with Burnley. Obviously, they got promoted to the Premier League, so there's definitely rumours that he might stay or go elsewhere. But again, massively linked with us, someone that we had a lot of interest in. Mark talked about this on a few occasions, actually, that he was definitely one to look out for. And yeah, he's gone to Marseille as well. That's not been confirmed yet. The Gomes one has been confirmed. Riley hasn't yet, but the word is that he is set to sign. And he's going to be another player that we miss out on. And yeah, it's a real disappointment because they're two players that I would have liked to see join the club. Particularly Gomes, like I say, I think he would have been perfect for us to try and transition to a different way of playing, one that's suited to Graham Potter. And again, the fact that they're both free transfers, you felt like, given our financial situation, it would have been a real good couple of signings had we got them through the door. But you can't blame them. You absolutely can't blame them. Marseille finished second in Ligue 1 last season. So that means Champions League football for both of them. I mean, that is something that players obviously want. And I almost admire them for just ignoring the sort of riches of the Premier League. We see so many players join clubs that maybe not beneath them, but that maybe they could have got a bigger move elsewhere in Europe, but they come to the Premier League for the money and for the glamour sort of side of it as well. So I almost admire them for not joining us and not joining for the money, because you would imagine that, like I say, with Gomes and Egan Riley as well, we would have given big pay rises to what they were earning at their respective clubs. So in a way, I do admire them. And we've got ourselves into a position, and I think it much mirrors what I've said before about Man United, that if a player does join West Ham this summer, you almost have to question their sanity, but why they're joining. And normally the answer is going to be money. And that is never a good starting point to bring a player to the club. It's never a good sign. Like Matheus Cunha, for example, has just joined Man United. Great sign. I think he's a great player. But you almost have to question why he's like really been after this Man United move. Obviously, Man United are a ridiculously big club. But in recent years, they've been absolutely nowhere near it. And you feel like if Cunha had interest from elsewhere, you know, the likes of, let's say, Chelsea, maybe Arsenal, you sort of think, well, why is he going to Man United? Other than the fact that they're a bit massive club and, you know, the sort of history behind the club. But you do also think there's definitely going to be big money involved. And that's the question I'm going to have for players that sign for West Ham, if we do sign any, this summer. Is that are you just getting a massive hike in your wages, looking for, you know, a payday, come to London, easy life sort of thing? We've put ourselves in this position where hungry, young, talented players that want to move up in the world, are they really going to be interested in West Ham, particularly when they've got the likes of Marseille, which is a great place to live. Obviously, like I say, in the Champions League, just finished second in Ligue 1, so we'd like to think that they might be able to mount a challenge for PSG for the title next season, and managed by Roberto De Zerbi, who obviously had a great time at Brighton and is doing very well at Marseille, playing a great brand of football. You can't argue players like opting to sign for Marseille over us in our current situation. So yeah, that's where I'm at with players this summer. I do think that if we do sign anyone, you are going to sort of question their mentality and where they're at. You hope that Potter and his style of play does entice people, but I'm not sure he's a character that will make people really want to sign for him. So maybe I'm wrong, but they're sort of some of my growing concerns. But the sort of third element to this triple whammy dealt by Marseille is the fact that Egan-Riley is set to sign, which means they are less likely, and I say less because it's not meaning it's impossible, but they are less likely to pursue a move for Nayef Aguerd, who is someone that we are definitely trying to offload. He is someone that, you know, would prove valuable in terms of a sale. You think would get around the 25-30 million pound mark for him. And he's had obviously a very good season. Again, Mark's talked about this before. And Marseille was seen as a little bit of a front runner for Aguerd, and I think he was said to be open to it. He was said that it would be a favourable move for him, and again, you can't blame him for that. So Marseille opting for Egan-Riley suggests that then won't be in the market for another centre half. Again, that I'm saying suggest because I don't know. They might want to sign two centre halves. Who knows? But it's quite unlikely, isn't it, that they're going to sign both of them. So we are still left with Nayef Aguerd. He clearly doesn't want to stay. He said that he doesn't even want to be involved in pre-season action, which again is another mark on his character. But he's going to be harder and harder to offload. And if clubs are opting elsewhere with their targets, then we don't want to be in a position where it's getting towards the end of the window and he's still a West Ham player, because then you're at the point where you take anything. You take a loan and just covering half the wages, for example, because he doesn't want to join and he doesn't want to stay. Sorry, and you don't want a player playing for your club if they really don't want to stay. Sorry. So yeah, it's a bit of a triple whammy dealt by Marseille in recent times, and you can't blame them. I think they've picked up two very, very good footballers. There's definitely promising signs for them, and in that they're moving in the right direction and looking to have another successful season under Roberto De Zerbi. But for West Ham, it just puts further pressure on Sullivan and the club to start to get things moving. They've obviously keep saying that the sell before you buy. Well, you need to start selling because it isn't happening. And the longer this window continues, the more targets we're going to miss out on. Up the Hammers.